Hello there. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Olanrewaju Kehinde. If this is your first time to be here, please click on the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on the YouTube videos that we post on a weekly basis on this channel. We are still continuing in this video on that same topic, Christian parenting tips for raising godly kids. In the very first video, we discussed that one of the most important things a parent needs to have or to do is to ensure that he works on himself. He is supposed to do something we would have called training the trainer. He needs to train himself first before he will be able to carry out the instruction of God that said, train up your child in the way that it should go. And we said it that also the trainer, the parent in this case, is supposed to have at the back of his mind that he is expected to be a role model for his kids. And is not expected to be doing anything contrary to the things that he will be teaching his kids to actually do. And in our last video, we spoke extensively on how important it is to create a conducive atmosphere for a great relationship between parents and their kids. The importance of this creating good atmosphere cannot be overemphasized. And in this video, we are going to be looking at how exactly to carry out this training of our kids so that they will turn out to be well, so that they will turn out to be beautiful, responsible, and godly kids that we are going to be proud of in the future. And that is why I would like us to pay attention to some of the things that I'm going to be sharing in this particular video. There are 4 points I want to mention, part of which we have already mentioned some of them. 4 important points when we talk about training our kids to be responsible and to be godly. There are 4 important points. The first point is, who is the person that is passing or doing this training? Who is the person carrying out this particular training? Who is the trainer? Who is the person that is giving the information out to the kids? This is what you are expected to do. And that is the parents, either the father or the mother or both of them. This is a very important point. And that was why that first video dealt with us working on ourselves as parents. The second important information is, how was this training or how was this information to be passed to our kids? How, the manner of passing this information to our kids is also of utmost importance. And that was why we were talking about the fact that we must be able to create a conducive environment, create a conducive atmosphere for us to be able to communicate. Communication is not just supposed to be a one-way thing. It's not just for you to tell your kids what you want and you expect and you don't get a feedback. If you don't get a feedback, it means you are not making any impact. That is what it simply means. There are a whole lot of issues, particularly for the kids when they are getting into their preteens and their teenage years. I've been saying that they need us as parents to be able to come down to their level, to understand them, so that we'll be able to discuss and we'll be able to help them to pull through that particular difficult phase of their lives. So you see, many of them, they pull through some of these phases of their lives without the involvement of the parents. And that's why many of them are not always very happy with us. Particularly for those that had to go through a whole lot of stress. And that's why it's very important for us to have an awesome relationship with our kids. And how do you know that you have a relationship? When your kids can come up to you to confide in you concerning anything. Nobody here is saying that they will always say the right thing, even if they say the wrong thing. Don't just shout them down. If you are shouting them down, you're already telling them that you are not mentally prepared to relate with them the way you are supposed to relate with them. Even if you're going to correct them, it's not through shouting. You need to explain to them. You will discover that will have more impact than when you begin to shout. But you see, the moment they don't see you like somebody they can confide in, then they go out to go and listen to people that are going to lead them the wrong way. How many of us claim to be parents today? And the only thing we discover that many of our kids are being trained by Facebook, by Twitter, by WhatsApp, by all the social media that we have today, internet. That is what is happening today. Your kids are being trained by the social media. And we are just there, just sitting down. Because we don't have that kind of relationship. Like I usually say, if a girl, a young teenage girl, is being asked out by a boy for a relationship, there is nothing abnormal. If a boy sees a girl and is attracted to her, there is nothing abnormal. If you are a parent, you are listening to me. When you were a teenager, were you not attracted to a member of the opposite sex? So what exactly are we saying? So for the child not to be able to come to you for an advice shows that there's something wrong with the relationship. And that is why we need to address that first. How was this information or training passed? That's the second important point. The third point is, how was this information or training understood by the child? And there's no way you are going to be able to understand this if you also don't have a relationship with the child. Because it's only when you have a relationship with the child that you get a feedback. From the feedback, you'll be able to know that, oh, my child has not gotten this thing I'm explaining. So you have to find another way to make sure he understands. But if there is no feedback mechanism, there is no way you will know whether you are even making any progress as per training your child to be responsible. That's why it's very important for you to know how was the information or the training understood by the child. And you can only get this, like I said earlier, based on the feedback that you are able to get. And you can only get feedback if you have a great relationship. And the fourth point, after the information is understood, what decision is the child taking concerning what he now understands? It also boils down to your relationship with that child. You will also be able to help him to take decisions that will make him to do better in different areas of life, depending on what issue you are addressing at this point in time. So I'm running through the 4 points again. The information or the training you are giving to your child, who is the person giving this information? The parents. The number 2 point is talking about what manner, what approach did the parent use to pass the information to the child. Very important. The third point is that, was the information or training properly understood by the child? What decision did the child make after he has properly understood the training? You see, all these things are so very important. You must develop a relationship. You must be able to pass the training across to them. And another thing I want to talk about here is when you talk about training a child, if you have 2, 3 children, the way you train A is not the way you train B. This training is relationship based. This training is not in any way different from the Christian faith that we all profess. I'm sure many of you know in the book of Matthew, where the Bible says something like when Jesus was talking to his disciples and he said, "Who do men say I am?" And everybody began to say a whole lot of things. Some said you are Elijah, some said you are Jeremiah. And he said, "Who do you say that I am?" And Peter said, "Thou art Christ, the Son of the living God." And Jesus said, "Flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father in heaven." He said, "Upon this rock, Peter, I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail." What was Jesus addressing there when he was referring to Peter as the rock? He was referring to the personal revelation that Peter had concerning him to be Christ, that others did not even catch at that time. That is the basis upon which the church is going to be built. So you cannot claim to be a member of the church if you don't have a personal relationship with this Christ. The same way as a parent, you cannot train a child effectively if there's no personal relationship. So the way you treat your son A will be different from the way you treat your daughter B when it comes to the issue of relationship. It's not that you're going to be partial, but the different approaches for different people, that's where you also need the Holy Spirit to guide you. But all of these points are very, very important. It's going to be relationship based. You must have a relationship with that child. If you don't have a relationship with the child, you'll not be able to effectively pass on the training. And that is the only way that you can make that child to become godly and to become a child that you're going to be proud of in the future. The last tip I want to talk about is the tip concerning prayers. It is so important for us as parents to always pray for our kids. They need our prayers. They need us to continue to pray for them. The truth is that the kind of power, the prayers that we give to our kids carries is not carried by any other person praying for them. So we need to understand this. I'm sure many of us will remember the story in the book of Genesis, chapter 27, I think. The story of Isaac, Jacob, and Esau, where Jacob maneuvered his way to get the blessing that was originally meant for Esau. And by the time that Isaac, because of the fact that he was already old at the time, he prayed for Jacob, blessed Jacob, thinking he was actually blessing Esau. By the time Esau came back and was telling the father that, no, this is me, I'm the one, please now pray for me, the man said, I have already prayed for your brother. I have already blessed him, and he shall be blessed. That is how powerful the prayers and the blessing of a father or a mother is. That is why even if your kids do anything that annoys you, don't curse them. If you curse them, you're only worsening the already bad situation. All they need from you is their prayers. And the prayers does not remove the responsibilities of the other things that we have mentioned. The fact that you must always be a good role model to them. The fact that you must always create a conducive atmosphere so that they can open up to you on anything. The fact that you must have a very good personal relationship with them so that you know how to talk to them so that to be able to impact positively on their lives. It is after you have done all of these three things that you will now be praying for them. So by doing all of these things together, you can be sure that with God on your side, definitely you are going to raise kids that are going to be amazing, beautiful, responsible, and godly children. And these are the kind of kids that when you look at them in the future, you'll be so proud of them. And at this point, we have come to the end of this video. I hope you have been able to gain some things from this video, practical parenting tips for raising godly kids. Thank you for joining us. See you next time. Once again, I am Olanrewaju Kehinde. I'm a Christian author, speaker, and online course creator. I've been writing and speaking about parenting and relationship for over 10 years now. If this is the first time you are coming on this channel, you're welcome. Make sure you click on the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on the videos that we upload on this channel on a weekly basis. I would like you at this point to go to the description of this video where you'll be having access to certain materials. There is a book there titled How to Effectively Listen to Your Kids for the Best Results. If you get this book, one thing you can be sure of is that you are going to be able to have a better communication and relationship with your kids. So the beautiful thing about this book is that you can get this book for free. If you click on the link that is in that description, that will just take you directly to where you can download this book at no cost to you. There is also another link, even on the same description of this video, with the title 10 Parenting Secrets You Need to Raise Responsible Kids. Do you really want to learn the 10 parenting secrets that you need to raise responsible kids? If you are interested in learning these secrets, then click on that link that will take you to where you can buy this course on Amazon. Then lastly, you will see another link that will take you to an Udemy course with the title Practical Parenting, How to Raise Wonderful Kids. This is another amazing and loaded course that you'll be learning a whole lot of things inside of it. Things like 4 different parenting styles. Things like how a good marriage can enhance effective parenting. Things like how to use your personal experience to train your kids. Then also you'll be having access to answers to practical questions being asked by parents. All and many more are contained in this amazing Udemy course, Practical Parenting, How to Raise Wonderful Kids. Just click on the link to have access to this course. Thank you.